Welcome to my 15th episode of my podcast, Open Conversations. I'm your host, Young Bella Sabedwo, and I am going to be talking about just getting into filming, talking about films, TV series, favorite cartoon shows, actors, actresses. Um, I had got on a request one time to, maybe do some episode on just like movies and TV. So, decided to, make, episode on just the different TVs and movies and stuff like that I like. So to get started, you know, speaking of some of my favorite TV series currently, um, uh, some of my favorite TV series currently. Um, that would include um, BMF, the BMF series, man. Definitely a great series. I watched both seasons, the first and the second one. The second one just ended about a month and a half, month ago. Great series, man. 50's been on a roll with these television series, and he's done a pretty good job with the BMF one. I think that the first series kind of was just like a intro of things, and I think the second season was better for me. I thought it was better. More just kind of, I think the story and the characters, and that was in the second one, and how things was done was pretty cool. I think Young Meech, who played, the Big Meech, and the series did a good job um, with Da Vinci. They both did a real good job in terms of playing their roles. Um, so yeah, BMF, man, definitely some that series I definitely recommend, man. Teach you a lot about the BMF and how they came up from the city of Detroit, and how they hustled and everything. So yeah, the Power series, um, obviously the first one with Ghost and Tommy, that was good. But recently they had they have the sequel with Tariq Michael Rainey, his own, where he's the main, you know, character, and with Mary J and Method Man, and all those guys. That's been a really good series. Been real good, very, very, gives a good depiction of just kind of, how, the hustle is with the modern day, and the modern day technology, you know. Very, very, very good. Just the story and how, certain characters are playing in the show is real cool. Um, the wittiness of Tariq, and his partner, the Caucasian man, his boy, his they kind of playing kind of like the role of how Ghost and Tommy was in the first series, and seeing how they navigate, doing their work, and the different, you know, female characters that's involved, and the dramas and the love making, and it's all cool, you know what I'm saying, to me. And Yeah, it's been a definitely entertaining, um definitely an entertaining TV show. So yeah, that's another one. Then and oh yeah, then you got the other one with Tommy, the other Power series with Tommy, where he's the pretty much the main character in Chicago. Um that one came out last year, but and that was really good. Um the story and everything, and just Tommy adapting to a whole new city. Obviously, he had his history in New York, and now adapting into Chicago and creating his whole new network, and learning how things are done in Chicago, in terms of the hustle and everything, and getting new connects and everything. Is pretty dope. So um yeah, that joint, the whole Power series, 50 and all of the writers and producers and all of them, they're doing a fantastic job in terms of making these um dope series, as well as the other series that 50 got with Raising Canaan, which was depicts pretty much how you know the hustle was in the 90s, and obviously how Canaan came up to promise, and just how he came up, and he came, got to be who he ended up becoming in the hustling and stuff. You see kind of the upbringing, how the upbringing ultimately influence who he is and who he became, with his mother and his uncles and stuff, who was in the dope game, hustling, and he getting his feet wet in the hustle game. You see how he came up, and with jukebox and all of that, it's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? It does definitely gives a good segue into how you know things came to be. Obviously, in the original Power series, where Kanan and Jukebox were older, but this one obviously covers them when they were younger. So man, it's definitely dope, man. Definitely recommend Raising Kanan. But Tina Miller is doing a phenomenal job in terms of her role, and the way she's just, as a woman, architecting the hustle and stuff. Um, and she just she a real, queen pin, so to speak. But yeah, it's dope series, man. I'm looking forward to the next series. I mean the next season that should be coming out probably, I think, over the summer some. And then Godfather Harlem is super dope. Um with Forrest Whitaker as Bumpy Johnson, and you got Malcolm X in there. Um his character, they switched characters between this season, that just the recent season just came out, and then they obviously had prior seasons, and they switched the character from Malcolm X. But yeah, Malcolm X in there, and you just kind of see the duality of Bumpy Johnson, and how he was honorable, respected, quote unquote, guy in Harlem for doing really good things, being charitable and things of that nature. And then he kind of had the quote unquote other side, of himself where he was, in the drug world and, you know, dealing with, the mafia and committing homicides and all, he had that um side to him or whatever. Um but you just kind of overall you see the duality of the natures of, Bumpy Johnson, and how both sides kind of pretty much collide amongst each other. He has a lot of good things happen and a lot of bad things happen. He's a wealthy guy, but a lot of people around him are dying or, stuff like that. So it's definitely a good show. Um, The Shy, um, definitely another one, series I really like. Um, uh, I watched every season. Um, it's covers the just the inner city of Chicago and the culture and how things are, and it's pretty dope. I like it. The actors in it, Jacob Lattimore, Commons in there, Vic Mensa was in there. A lot of Chicago artists and people, and yeah, it just gives a pretty good depiction of Chicago, and not none. And also, it's relatable for any inner city of just kind of how things work. Just on all scales, politically and in the neighborhoods and school, um, nightlife, gang life, all that. The Shy covers that, and Lena Waithe, she's doing a great job doing, with the show. So yeah, that's one of the uh series I definitely tune into and look forward to. Then lastly, P Valley. Um this is quite, you know, I just find it kind of a little just interesting, you know what I'm saying? Seeing just the inner life of kind of how the stripper life is, and how just the reality of, how they life is to some degree, and not just their life in the stripper, you know, you know, in the strip club, but just outside of that, and how they, you know, navigate, outside, and stuff like that. Pretty good, I thought it was interesting, very different from any other television series beforehand. So that's a one of one, so to speak, in my opinion. And it's interesting, it's entertaining, it's dramatic and all that. Um, but yeah. So uh that that concludes that my favorite TV series currently. So on to the next. So all time favorite Netflix series. Um, got a couple that I really like from Netflix. Narcos. With Pablo, the first season with Pablo Escobar, my favorite of the Narco seasons. Seeing how he navigated and operated his business. It's just crazy. He just like, you know, he was super rich. You know, he was burning millions of dollars because rats was eating it, and it's just like, wow. But he was ruthless dude, and he got things done, man. He found his way to you know get his will done with certain things. And I really like the way that the directors directed the series, just um the camera, um and how things were shot, you know, in certain scenes and stuff, the lighting and stuff, and the angles were pretty dope on several occasions. Yeah, and even the second season was good too as well. But I definitely like the one with Pablo the most. And then I go Stranger Things. Definitely a great TV series, man. Very multi-layered show. I mean, I feel like that's one um television series that has like so many layers to it. So many layers. Like metaphors is so in depth, you know. It's like it's like movies within the movie, you know, kind of thing. And I've learned a lot about that show. It really has a lot of lessons you can learn and apply in actual real life, and just how, you know, certain things are done and how it's uh, affects, you know, you see, I see certain things, you know, actually happen in real life and how things are done. And uh, it's just a phenomenal show. The actors in it are great. Um, the story writing and screenwriting and all that is super dope. And yeah, you know, that's just a phenomenal series, one of them all time series to me. And then House of Cards, that's a great, you know, great TV series to watch. In my opinion, great acting, Kevin Spacey, Robin Wright. I mean, there's so many, you know, there's a lot of great acting in that show. Um, you really just get to get a good grasp of just, you know, obviously the, you know, is the show covers politics and the presidency and, you know, the house and all of that. And obviously the show is not 100% factual, but very much so, these things happen. Maybe not specifically in the same way, but in ways. You know, a lot of these things do happen, I believe, and it's been seen when it comes to, you know, the presidency and politics and, you know, elections and all the, you know, the House and all of these type of things. You see it all, I see it all the time. And, you know, House of Cards depicts politics and how things are done in the best way possible, in my opinion. The acting, the storylining was just great. It was very great. Um, Robin Wright was awesome, and Kevin Spacey. I mean, all time great jobs in terms of acting, like all time great jobs. But get House of Cards, great show and series to watch. Man, there's a lot to learn, and you can learn a lot in that joint. Then uh Upshaws. That's a recent TV series with Mike Epps, where he's the father and he has his wife and kids, and, you know, he just depicts his life as a father, you know, raising a black family, and, you know, just kind of gives a very average kind of everyday lifestyle plot. Yeah, your average African American man in society in the US, and, you know, stuff that you deal with and scenarios and situations. And I can really connect, you know, you know, I'm the same community, so it's relatable. Uh and you know, it's a funny show. Mike Epps obviously funny dude. And it's a great show. A lot of lessons you can learn in it as well. But yeah, that will conclude for me in terms of that. Next, favorite show/series on Hulu. First, gotta go with starting with the Wu-Tang series. That's definitely been a dope series. They just finished the last season not too long ago. It came out in like 2019, and great series, very creative. The RZA and the Wu-Tang did a good job in terms of the story writing of the series. The artistic, some of the artistic ways in which they um, presented the show. Implemented the obviously the karate aspect of Wu Tang into it, and just the creativity of how they depicted the show, and was great. And you just learned a lot about the Wu Tang and each member and how they came up and how they came to connect. And at first it was like they didn't, they really wasn't with the whole coming together and um, forming this super group, and quote unquote, egos colliding between members, and but the RZA was able to put things all together, and was able to get them all to on the same page, and be in harmony, but and become the super group that they became. And you see the ups, the downs that RZA and the Wu Tang face throughout their careers, coming up as the Wu Tang Clan, the politics that they experience, and the triumphs and all, et cetera, et cetera. So um, definitely a great series. Great, guys did a good job acting. Ashton Sanders, Shamik Moore, uh, et cetera, et cetera. All of them did a good job. Um, Davies, as Method Man, and they did a good job. Then another series that I like on Hulu, Grown-ish. You know, it's pretty cool. Seeing them. Uh, that show is definitely gives remnants of how things were in college. And it gives a pretty good depiction of just the current state of how college, young adults, connect and do things, and how things are on social media and how they connect. And it definitely gives a good depiction. And actors is good. You got the Bailey sisters, Chloe and Holly, then Yara and uh uh Diggy Simmons, and Trevor Jackson, and all these guys, did in the show. I think Justine Skies in the recent one. Yeah, so it's a lot of influential young um you know people who are doing their thing in terms of acting. Kenya Barris, he's one of my favorite producers, and just overall creatives in terms of screenplay and stuff. And currently, he's been doing a great job with his shows and stuff that he's been producing. Um, then another show I like is the Carmichael Show. Gerard Carmichael, uh, funny dude. Um, can be, it covers his family and the politics that they have in his family, so it's a black family, and just seeing how he is and his family, kind of like his role of character in his family, and you know the structure of everything. It's very relatable. I know for myself, and I know a lot of other people can kind of relate to how things are set. His family structure is, and it's funny show. Whether it's Gerard, the father, and all of them, it's a pretty good show. Got a lot of lessons that you can learn. Each episode has like a message that you can get it. It always has. I don't watch it and be like, I didn't. What was the message of behind the whole episode, so to speak? I always feel like I get like a good messaging behind the overall episode in of itself. So yeah, the Carmichael Show, and then F That's Delicious with Action Bronson, Mayhem Lauren, uh, Alchemist, and Derringer. Um, would go Big Body Beds. They would go, traveling pretty much the world, whether it's the U.S. or out the country, just eating at different, you know, dope restaurants and trying out different foods and stuff like that. I definitely, take note of some of the restaurants that they go to, and if I were to go to some of the cities that they go, I try try it out or something. But just dope. It's just some, it's a habit, look, that I actually have just adapting my lifestyle, just trying out, going to new cities, trying out new restaurants and things of that nature. You know, I love food and cooking and eating, and so it's always dope, discovering some new places to eat, and just the overall show is just dope, man. Just hanging, living life, and then obviously, seeing for me myself, just seeing some of my favorite uh musicians and artists, just hanging out, just seeing how they vibe with Alchemist, Action Bronson, Mayhem Lauren, and these guys, like it's just cool, So that's just my favorite TV shows out on Hulu. And next, favorite cartoon shows. First start out with Hey Arnold. Definitely a TV show that I grew up watching. Um, in the '90s with Arnold, and um, the Helga, as and all those, all the different characters in the show. It was just a dope show. They all played a part. Obviously, Arnold was the center of the show, but every kid, and throughout, if you really watch Arnold and everything, had like in some sense like an episode that was for them. Like for Sid, it was like one episode, like Sid was kind of like the main character, and you just kind of see how Sid's life was, or another, Helga, you might see an episode that would just kind of like dedicate on like Helga's life and how her life outside of the school, and it's such really all, like I said, all the characters that were in you know in class with Arnold, and just it was just an overall dope show. Has a dope dope lessons, funny, yeah, all those, just an overall great show. Then Rocket Power. That's definitely a show. I just grew up and just was amazed at just how, they just move, as young kids, they was just, living life, in the pier and just in the beach, surfing, doing riding bikes and doing all sorts of extreme sports. And, it was just for me, inspiring seeing them doing all that they was doing, the competitions and stuff that they participated in, as youngsters and all that. Like it just it was just exciting and entertaining for me. Uh and then Dragon Ball Z for sure. Um Goku and Vegeta, that whole, you know, saga and them, how they were, competitors and partners at the same time. And just the evolution of Goku, because Goku was obviously like the center of the show, and then you obviously had the different, characters within the show who played parts, Vegeta, Krillin, Piccolo, uh Go 10, and uh um Trunks, and etc. etc. All the different characters throughout the show, man. And the Super Saiyan stuff, man. I remember some of just like, you know, when Goku went Super Saiyan 2, you know what I'm saying? And he just went crazy, he had the electric on him. It was even to this, like, damn, that was just one of those memorable moments for me when it comes to the show, and just when anytime you would see them go Super Saiyan and go from Super Saiyan 1 to 2 to 3, and just actually seeing the process. It was always like a process and how they would evolve into these, to the new Super Saiyan level. And a lot of it in a lot of ways applies to real life. You know what I'm saying? You evolve and you grow, uh, like a Super Saiyan in ways, and just the fighting and all that and how they did things. And Dragon Ball Z, just an all-time great show, for those who know, what I'm saying, they know, Dragon Ball Z is forever one of the, all-time, you know great shows. Then I was a big fan of Jimmy Neutron, man. He was Kid Genius. you know he just had a knack for figuring things out. I think that's kind of, I'm similar in ways, but uh his friends, that he would go, do all these, experiments with and all that. And his show was just cool, man. You just see how incredible this Kid Genius was, and how he just figured everything out and had the formula. And he sometimes he creates something super dope, and then it low key go haywire, and then he figure out how to get it back. He'll figure the answer to like, you know how to solve the situation or whatever. Like, what. And it's dope to me. Then Fairly Odd Parents, that appeared on Nick, as well, right? Yeah, Jimmy Neutron, Nick too. But Fairly Odd Parents, you had Timmy Turner and the Odd Parents. And it just be, having a life where you could just like have fair, Fairly Odd Parents, quote unquote, who can just make things happen like that. And it was just dope to me. But you could see, times where he would wish for certain things to happen, and then it, backfired, and he learned. You also see like not every wish that you want is a blessing. You don't even know the real repercussions to that wish. So you gotta be prepared, for what you wish for. But it was just, I just like the show. So yeah, that concludes favorite cartoon shows list. My favorite actors of all time, man. Starting with Denzel, man. Just you can just the professionalism. You can just see the professionalism in Denzel and how he operates and how he just takes his craft serious and puts real time into his craft. And just the different roles he's played over the years, whether it's in He Got Game, Training Day, Inside Man, etc. Denzel has always performed well as an actor in the role he's played. He's always done a great job. You really believe that he is the role that he is playing, and he doesn't ever short you out of that. And he's just one of those great actors. Then Leonardo DiCaprio, another one of my favorite actors. Whether it's with Titanic and I forget it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but that Leonardo DiCaprio he acted in, where he was entering dreams, and just kind of like operating in this in this dream world, and he did such a phenomenal job in terms of his acting, the role that he played. I'm it's like for some reason the name of the movie just slipping my mind. Inception. That's what the name of the movie is called. He did a really good job. He did a hell of a job in his role. Just an overall great movie. Definitely recommend. But Leonardo's always been great in terms of his acting ability, and Django. You just you really believe it. Like Denzel, he's the character he's playing. And then another actor that I really like, Don Cheadle. He's another great one. He's somebody. He's very versatile. He can be the main actor. He can play secondary role. He can be one of the just one of the just almost play like a Vimeo with a just a slight role, whatever. Don Cheadle's somebody who's always whatever role he plays is good. One of some of my favorite roles he's played in is his role where he was the lead actor in Hotel Rwanda. His roles in the different oceans and the Iron Mans, and he's Rush Hour. He's done a good job. I was admired like the seriousness, and then just like his demeanor and how he carries himself. I just like how he what he does. Then I'll go with Will Smith. Obviously he's taking heat. People love to hate Will Smith, man. Like he's not the go to this entertainment stuff, man. Like Will Smith is that dude, man. Stop the devaluing of this man because he has his his own relationship. That's his business. That's them. A lot of people are going through all types of hell in their relationships. He would just want to just have gossip talk because he's a notable guy. But no, anyway, let me get to the point. But whether it's Fresh Prince, he's just been somebody who's been able to just, you just give Will Smith a role and he just kind of can mold himself into the role, like, you know, kind of like an iguana in terms of, his acting ability. He can just mold himself into that role. You just see the versatility in the roles when you look at his catalog. Whether it's with Fresh Prince, Bad Boys, Independence Day, Men in Black, uh, uh, King Richard, and etc. The list goes on and on, man. Will Smith has always been great, in terms of his role and his acting, um, and I've always appreciated his skill set, as an actor, just as an artist. Music, whatever it is. Will Smith has always been great at what he's set himself out to do. So, you know, much love to Will Smith. Then uh, Johnny Depp, he's another one of those guys who can really mold himself into a role. He's played so many different roles, whether it was with the Edward Scissorhands and the Pirates, and all the other different many roles he's played throughout his career. Johnny Depp has always been very good in his role, and he's very exciting, uh, and so he's a guy that I always like to see in the movies. And last, I'm gonna go with Samuel Jackson. His he's played so many roles, man. And he's always been Samuel. You know what I'm saying? Inside of his role that he plays, he's been Samuel, and you know, he's played his role well. He's been in the lead actor, the side, secondary, whatever, just kind of playing his small role. Samuel has been really good and funny. So you know he can. I like his range a lot in terms of his acting ability. Um, that's one thing. For me, I like versatility, and so in all things, but especially as an actor, when you show that you can play different roles, that's very good. Favorite actresses of all time. Starting out with the beautiful Halle Berry. Halle Berry. Now, she's always been gorgeous, and playing, but she's been a good actress as well. Some of my favorite roles, she plays Baps and Catwoman, and she's you know Holly Berry's usually like I mean, she is like super beautiful, but like she's always like the main. She never really play like. Well, in X-Men, she was the Storm lead. She was still one of the main leading actors in the film, but she never really had no like short roles or anything. She's always been like one of the main featured actors, actually, however you want to call it, in movies. But she's always been really good, to me. Besides her good looks, and you know, it's always good seeing her in movies, even at her age. Currently, um, Viola Davis, that's a real goat. I just like her, like since she's like to me, one of the definitions like a strong black woman. She gives that energy, strong black woman, so to speak. But she's a great actress, especially her how with How to Get Away with Murder, her role in that, and just her other the other roles I've seen her play. Like she's somebody that's like always um been about uh what she's about, and just big advocate for the culture and black women, and um you know black actresses, and she just been always been a good uh model, in my humble opinion, uh that I really like. And then next, Julia Roberts. She's a goat, in my opinion. Great actress. um I like her roles in the movies that I've seen her play, you know and whether it was, in the Oceans, and any other role that I seen Julia Roberts play, she does well in her role. So I definitely would like to, mention her. Then Taraji P. Henson, you know, she's I've always liked her energy, the energy she brings. Very, she is from DC, um, but I like the energy she brings in terms of her roles, the just the pizzazz, and the, you always know Taraji, um, when she's playing her role. You know what I'm saying? Like when she's in the, when she's in the movie. You know what I'm saying? And obviously one of the beautiful black women in Hollywood, and just seeing her story and how she came up and everything, and the role she's one of those you know actors and actresses who's shown like growth over the years, and like the roles that she's played, like the significant role, the lead role type things. Like she wasn't always the actress, who played those lead roles. She kind of used to play those, the sorrows, and now she's at a point where she's, playing those lead roles in the films that she's a part of. So yeah, gotta mention Taraji, Monique. When you talking about the Parkers, and her role in that with Professor Ogilvy and all that, and her role, she is Miss Parker. You know, that's one of that's a legendary just overall just TV role. You know what I'm saying? But just even in the other roles, in movies and all of that, stand up, and all that. She's always been, you know she does, mention, she doesn't necessarily get the quote unquote, respect, or that she feel like she deserved. But in terms of, like, I guess, the industry, but I recognize what you do, Monique, and I think you're definitely, one of the, all time great at what you do. So Monique is definitely a goat to me. Uh, and then Robin Wright, for her, her role, mainly for her role in House of Cards, in my opinion, as Claire Underwood, to me, just one of the all time greats, in terms of um, her role in the, in the TV show or series. Like, she was just a savage, but she was just, she, she did it with class, and she just was, just a beautiful woman, you know, in my opinion. And she kind of used her looks, to in some degree to get what she ultimately wanted, and without doing too much, so to speak. But um, she was very disciplined in how she moved, and but even more militant in a lot of ways than Kevin Spacey, and his character as the president. She kind of, in my opinion, showed like she was the better, um, so to speak, president, in my opinion, and she kind of really like wanted it more than Kevin Spacey's character. But Kevin Spacey was just a little more, had things a little bit more under the wraps. But her role in that in House of Cards is just all time to me. And then lastly, I'm gonna go with Regina Hall. She's definitely another, you know, black uh actress, one of the, veteran, who's been in the industry. Uh Seeing, she's another like Taraji in ways where she kind of started out with smaller roles, and as you've seen over the years, she kind of gained, bigger roles, uh, you know, roles that more leading kind of roles in films and shows. And I just like her presence in films. She's a beautiful woman. uh and Yeah, so that would conclude my list for favorite actresses of all time. Favorite movies of all time. Start off with um, Malibu's Most Wanted, man. Any, anybody who has some level of know how who I am. That's always a movie that I've always thought was funny, and I like. You know, Obviously, it's not the most whatever, like, I guess, super greatest story or whatever. Just it's a funny movie. I just like the funniness of the humor, the in a lot of ways the ignorance of it. It's just funny to me. But this the overall story, and just the irony in the movie with B Rad and all of that, and how he kind of, and how things ended was cool. But just funny movie, a lot of stereotypes in it that was funny to me. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. And then uh The Dark Knight, which was the second of the Christian Bale movies of Batman. Yeah, definitely a great story. The one with Joker. Just the whole duality of their nature, Batman and Joker, and a lot of it kind of had some philosophical points. You know what I mean? Very, very, very had some principles and lessons you could learn, that apply to real life. And then just like the overall story of the joint, was dope. And Two Face, and his role, and how he was once just had like a promising, like, governor position, and things kind of turned for the worse from a little, and he became Two Face or whatever. And just the overall film, and was just super dope to me. Long movie, but it was like it was worth it. It was no wasted like aspects of the movie. Where it's like, I don't, what was it like? All aspects had their importance and role, and so yeah, Dark Knight, and then the entire Friday series. The entire Friday series, Friday, the first one, second, third. I can watch that today. Like it never gets old. Like it's just something that like never, like the Friday never gets. I can watch Friday or any of the Fridays on any day, and it just be this, still the same funniness, and everything. And so, uh, the entire series, if I had to pick my favorite of the Friday series, I probably would say, um, damn, I probably would say the second one. And the second one was my favorite of the ones though. And but yeah, like I said, whole Friday series. Then Paid in Full. That's definitely a classic, man. Just Mekhi Phife, Cameron, and Woody Harris. They all played a great job in terms of their roles, and of the movie, and how just depicting the hustle then in Harlem with you know um Alpo, and all those guys, Mitch, and just seeing the story and how it was told, and it was just dope. You know what I'm saying? But you know at the same time, a little sad, seeing how things ended. You know, but a lot of lessons, to be learned. But just the overall, just the directing, and the story of the movie was great. Dame did a great job, directing the film. And so, definitely a classic in my book. Uh, he got Game. Um, Spike Lee did a good job directing. You got Denzel. Jesus Shuttlesworth. Obviously Ray Allen. Young Ray Allen. Um, just seeing the obviously, the journey of a young prospective NBA player, and their lifestyle, and just seeing that, obviously him getting to that point, his outside life, his neighborhood life, his relationship with his father, and um just was, it's just to me very relatable in a lot of ways. Obviously I'm a Hooper basketball player. um so yeah, it's just a great film overall, and very iconic. Obviously, the Jordan had the debut the 13s in the joints, and which is called, they call it the He Got Games. Um, but yeah, great film. Then lastly, go with Rush Hour 2. Rush Hour 2, the sequel of the first Rush Hour. I like all the Rush Hours. I like the second one the best. Um, the thing is like a lot more funnier. You know, Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan had a quote like a better relationship in terms of like their characters in the film. So they kind of vibed a little better, and the story writing was cool. Um, it was just dope. It's funny, and yeah, Rush Hour 2. Just one of my favorites. Um, uh, Younger actors and actors I like currently. So it's just a couple of them, that I really think is dope. Yara Shahidi, her jobs and the Blackish, the Grownish, she's shown that she's gonna be, an actress who's gonna be playing some, I believe, in future, some major leading role kind of roles in future time as she's, you know, showcased in, earlier in a career, you know, obviously even in Grownish, she's the center of the show. But it's she's done well in her role, and I have a lot of high hopes for her moving on in her career. And next I go Jacob Lattimore. He's another good young actor. Um, that's he's a, Jacob Lattimore's another good young actor that's out there. He's in his roles. The Shy being one of the roles that I primarily know him from. I just I definitely like his role character he's played in the series, and I've seen him in other films and stuff like that, and I think he's one of the guys that is gonna be here for a long time, so to speak, in the industry. So mention him, and then Ashton Sanders, he's dope. Um, I know him primarily from his role as RZA in the Wu Tang Saga series, and I liked the way he, you know, played RZA and how he conducted himself and stuff like that. I think he was dope. He's played in some other roles as well, and I just think, yeah, like said with Jake Lattimore, he's definitely somebody of the future that I think is gonna be here for a long time and playing other big roles in other movies. Then I'm gonna go. Shamik Moore is another guy that I think is really dope. He played in the movie Dope. He had a role in there, and then I just really liked his role that he's played with in the Wu Tang series as Raekwon. He's he was he played Raekwon in the saga, and he did a great job. He definitely depicted Raekwon in a way that I felt like Raekwon shouldn't be well, depicted and presented. I think he did a good job. Um, and so he's another guy. I think I've seen him in other films, like, and I think he's a guy who's gonna be getting a lot of roles, and probably in some lead roles eventually as he continues his career. uh Miles Truitt, he played he's played in a couple roles. I see he played a role in Stranger Things, and seen him in some other joints, but I primarily know him as B Mickey in the BMF series, and I like the role that he played in the show, and how he conducted himself, and you know he did some fair and foul things, and as I mean in terms of his character in the show, but I just like he did a good job in terms of his acting and stuff, in my opinion. Uh, then another, speaking of BMF, Da Vinci, he was playing Terry Flannery in the BMF series. He's a guy who I've seen, who I think has a lot of promise in terms of his career. He was in Grownish. he's been in other films and series and stuff like that. But I think he's really good. I think he has the opportunity to be somebody who will be here for the long haul as well. Um, then Demetrius Flannery, Lil Meech, Young Meech, however you want to say it. He did a good job. He's done a good job playing his father in the the BMF series, and I just really feel like this is like how Big Meech was, out coming up. Like he gives a good depiction of, just how his dad was, and I think he represents, his character well, and I think obviously with his, you know, showcasing, how well he's uh played his role in the BMF. I'm expecting him probably to get some new roles, and that'll be good for him. Uh, and then lastly, I'm gonna go with Marsai Martin. You know, she's a young lady that I admire. At and she starred in Blackish as the daughter, and she was always like the smart young girl, smart kid, kind of like the smart one in the family. Kind of, she's shown that she did a good job in her role in the show, and to me, just shown very uh high maturity at such a young age. I think that's the thing that I think a lot of people can recognize about her. She's shown a level of maturity past her, actual age. And she even was the youngest to produce her own studio film. Believe it's called Little with Regina Hall. And she did an Issa Rae, I believe. And she produced the film, and she's the youngest to produce a studio film. So that again, it shows the maturity level, the you know the expertise that she has at such a young age. And she's somebody I think has a bright future in the industry. And looking forward to see her play more roles and get bigger roles, and you know obviously produce new more films. And so that would be great for her. And so yeah, that concludes my list. And so you know thanks obviously you guys for watching. uh you know just wanted to do something that show my expertise in the film aspects, and just my some of the actresses and stuff that I like, wanting to share with you guys. And would obviously want you guys to test these go watch these movies, these series, and these actors and actresses, because these are definitely some of the best that are currently um, out there, and have paid, have done it, and haven't have hung it up. Yeah, these are some of the best. And so uh, looking forward to hearing and seeing you guys next time.